So you're thinking of moving to Australia? We asked 3 new migrants what their biggest challenge was when they first moved to Australia. What's the biggest challenge that you've had so far since living in Australia?
Not really sure. I think just adjusting to living somewhere that's very different.
What's the biggest difference that you found then?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I say different, but it's just not where I've always lived, I think is more to the point. It's just getting used to those things that I touched upon earlier, like a lot. It's mostly around the admin and just the way that certain things are set up, like just been trying to do my tax return. And
yeah, that was weird doing that for the first time.
It would have been super simple if I didn't have any income from the UK from my property, but it's just working out what that calculation is.
Did you do it yourself?
I have done it myself, but I am getting it checked.
You can claim that back on your tax next year if you use a tax accountant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which doesn't make it particularly free. When someone first told me that, I was like, "What? You get a free accountant?" Like, no. It just comes off your tax threshold.
So yeah, that's probably the biggest challenge, and I think probably the weather as well. Living in Sydney, and for yourself in Brisbane, it's La Nina in the last 12 months has been, everyone's saying, "Oh, you brought the English weather with you."
Yeah, no, that was all me. Yeah.
And also, we don't have weather like this in the UK. Like, it might rain, but not like this. It was, I've been to India and Nepal during monsoon season, and it was more like that. It was so torrential. So I think maybe not being able to get out and about as freely as maybe we expected to. And first world problems, they're not big issues, but just the adjustment, I think.
That's how the whole of the British people run, isn't it? Just whinging about the weather. So it's not really...
Yeah, love a good chat about the weather.
We've never experienced rain like it either. When we had all the flooding in sort of February and March, I think one of the statistics for around where we live is we got about 1,400 mils of rainfall in the one event. And that, when I looked it up, that's like how much rain we got in a year in England.
Yeah,
I think that might even be the amount of
madness,
rain that we get
in
a year normally here. And it just happened in one go. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's such an adjustment as well. And I think also living in a city, you also don't necessarily, and maybe this is me being naive, but just the flooding that was happening everywhere. It's not just the rivers bursting their banks, just the sheer volume of water that's coming out of the sky, and there's really nowhere for it to go. Fortunately, we were living on a hill for us, but we had friends that were flooded, and like basements flooded and stuff like that. And it's just also the humidity.
If you think it's humid down in Sydney, God, you should experience the Brisbane summer. What's been the biggest challenge so far?
There was more administration than I thought it would be. I did have to go to transport raiders twice, because I thought I had all the documents they could possibly need. No, I hadn't.
What were you missing?
I was missing a physical bank card, because I am with a bank where you basically do everything online and you have everything on the phone. And I was like, no, I don't need a physical card. Turns out I do.
Yeah, they need to see it, don't they? You probably got some old lady who wanted to do everything exactly by the book.
Yeah, and I also need a Medicare card, which came a few weeks later.
Could they not take the online one?
I didn't even have that one, because
you can get it on the app, can't you?
Yeah, nowadays, yep, we can. But yeah, that was just additional. It was easier for them to have the medical.
Yeah, because I was told when I went that I needed the Medicare, the physical card, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I've been told that you can just use the online one. And they said, no, you got to go and get it. So I went and got it, and then I came back another day. Yeah. And then the new lady that I got, she said, no, we could have taken the old one.
Yep.
Like, do you know what? This Department of Transport and Main Roads, or whatever it's called, you just seem to get a different person saying a different thing every single time.
Yeah,
you just bring as much as you want and hope that they've got it.
Yep, exactly.
What else has been kind of your biggest challenges so far?
Reactions of family, I think. It's a hard one, because obviously we've just given our parents a grandchild, and now have taken him away. So yeah, it's quite...
How did they take it that when you told them you wanted to go to Australia?
Overall, the response was as good as we could have hoped.
They did their best to remain positive, I think. They're obviously very sad, but they completely understand why we're doing it, especially my parents as well, because I've been talking about it for years and years, so they expected it from me. I think Adam's parents, when we told them we were at breakfast, and it was completely silent. So I was just like shoveling pancakes.
More like a shocked silence rather than like a disappointed. Like I could not have hoped for them to have taken it better, because it's not good news for them to take. So I think they took it really, really well, as good as they could have. But obviously that was a real challenge, because it's just been hard for, like, they'd say, "Oh, should we do this?" And then it's like we're all just sort of mutually realising that we won't be there to do the thing they've just mentioned, and stuff like that. So I think that's been probably the biggest challenge.